We got to talk about this mental health bullshit. And before everyone goes crazy on me, if you're not mature enough or too sensitive to have a real conversation, then scroll the fuck on. I am not saying that mental health doesn't exist. I'm not saying that it's not important to have your mental health and mindset in a good space on a daily basis. But what I am saying is mental health is not something that you use for clout on social media, and it's not something that you use as an excuse to fucking behave in an inappropriate manner and do whatever the fuck you want whenever you feel like it, and then just use mental health as a crutch to get away with being a jackass. That is not what it's used for, and that is the problem with a lot of people in our society today. What really set me off about this is there's a local content creator, and I'm not going to name drop or say anything, started a podcast about mental health. On the surface, it seems like a great thing, right? And when you see stuff like that, I think a lot of people immediately, whether you agree with everything about mental health or not, you want to be supportive and ride with somebody who's doing something like that. But then you get to know the person behind who's doing it, and all it's about is which celebrity he's going to interview for mental health and how many views he's getting on his fucking reels on social media. I'm sorry, but that is not a person that I'm going to fucking stand with, because that doesn't mean that you really care about mental health. If you really cared about mental health, you would be going out in your own community and having impacts on that type of shit. If you were really serious about it and serious about the story that you took, then you would be in the local community right here in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, having an impact, not just using it to go tour places, go to different cities, get interviews with celebrities, meet hot chicks. That is not what that shit is fucking supposed to be used for. If you're going to build a platform and do it, then do it right and do it from a place of truth and genuineness. Don't fucking play around with something like that. And again, I think that's just such a huge problem with mental health, with the whole mental health thing today, is people use it as an excuse or use it as a cop out or again for fucking social media clout. Like, I have friends that have tried to take their own lives. I've had people close to me that have been in situations where they felt like the only way out was to kill themselves. And then you got a motherfucker like this running around saying he's an advocate for mental health, but he's just using it for his own clout and platform growth. That's fucking bullshit. And that pisses me the fuck off, if I'm being completely honest with you. To the day I die, I will preach this. We are in a society where social media is everything. Like, the value of a human being to a lot of people is how many followers you have on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever the fuck the platform is, right? Because it goes in cycles. But what bothers me the most about that is there's so many people out there that are just doing it for the clout and the money. It's not about actually creating a following of real people who have a genuine connection with the shit that you're talking about, and you're able to have a positive impact on their life. If you really care about that, then you wouldn't give a fuck about who you're interviewing or what you're talking about or how many followers you have. Because if you're real and you're genuine, that shit will come when the time is right. Because it's God's plan, not ours. And that is the biggest disagreement and biggest argument I will have with mental health in general. I am not saying that there aren't people out there with genuine chemical imbalances that require medication for stuff like anxiety and depression. But what we do not admit as a society, every human being has a little bit of anxiety and depression on a daily basis. Everybody does. It's how you manage it. And I'm not judging. If you want to take a pill for it, if you want to smoke some weed for it, that's fine. But what you also have to address in the same breath is you're not finding out what's making you depressed. You're not finding out what's making you anxious. You're just taking something to cope with it. And that's coming from someone who has taken that shit both ways, self-medicated and medicated, right? Like, and I didn't take it for those reasons, but I'm just saying, like, that shit is available, but it's not going to fix the problem. You have to figure out what's causing your stress and anxiety. Because regardless of your job, regardless of the setting, regardless of the environment that you're in or the people that you hang around, you're always going to have a little bit of anxiousness or stress or depression if you don't address where it's coming from, which is usually within your own thought process or something that you've created in your own mind that's causing those things on a daily basis. Any type of medication, prescribed or self-medicated, any type of medication for that is simply going to numb it. And when you come down off of whatever you're on, you're going to be more anxious, more depressed, like go down the line of whatever you're taking the pill for. And I have friends who have been in that situation, and you talk to them and they tell you that stuff. So that's not just like me making an assumption on something. What set me off the most about that particular incident is like, there's a lot of people out there that act like they advocate for mental health, but they're doing it for their own benefit. That didn't set me off because somebody's out here trying to talk about mental health. But when you hear the true intention and the backstory behind why they're doing it, like what's the motive? Is the motive to help people improve their mental health? Or is the motive just for you to interview celebrities and get a lot of followers on Instagram? That's a huge fucking difference. You know what I mean? So it's just frustrating to hear that shit. And there's a lot of I just got to keep going back to that. Like there's a lot of creatives where it's like as soon as they hit a certain mark, you see what they're really about because it's all about what they're doing or how much money they're making or how many followers they have or running for commercials and ads instead of just continuing to keep the content in the form that got you there, that got you the genuine following, that got you the people who actually support and care about you instead of all the celebrity recognition and the endorsements and partnerships and all the fucking bullshit that comes afterwards. That's clout chasing. So you can really find out pretty quickly on social media who's a fake clout chaser just trying to chase a check and someone who's really out here trying to make content to impact somebody's life. Because there's a difference. So that's that was just such a pet peeve of mine, and it really set me off with the mental health stuff, especially when you have people in your life who everybody has somebody in their life, whether it's themselves or someone they're close to that deals with like heavy shit with the mental health stuff that they can't even verbalize because it's really impacting them. Like I said, I'm not saying that mental health doesn't exist. I mean, like I said, I'll say it over and over, whether it's something that happened through a physical injury that caused brain trauma or people who have legitimate like chemical imbalances in the brain, like that shit's definitely real. But I think there's a lot of people that don't even have anything that severe and they fucking milk it and use it as an excuse to act like a jackass or not behave like you're supposed to in society. So, and I don't mean like, breaking away and creating your own path in life as far as a career or a dream that you're chasing. I'm talking about just like general behavior and how you treat people. I don't care if you're anxious or depressed. That's no reason to fucking make someone else's day bad or have a negative interaction with someone or not treat someone like they're a fucking human being. That's bullshit. And that's an excuse. That's a cop-out for you to take your issues out on somebody else. And that's not how we're supposed to live life because there's always somebody that has it tougher than you. No matter how bad you think your life is, no matter how fucked up you think you are, or how difficult the things that you're going through are, and I'm not saying they're not, there's somebody that's got a tougher path. There's somebody that's dealing with something heavier. So just for everyone out there who's a mental health advocate, at least make sure that you're doing it with somebody who genuinely believes in helping people positively correct the whole mental health thing instead of somebody who fucking is just using it as a platform or using it as an excuse or a cop-out to be a piece of shit. So that would be my mental health statement of the month. Talks with Tom.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more.
I don't care if it's comedy or